Let's keep it simple today. Let's talk about the winners for the wildcard weekend this past time. And I do plan on making a divisional winners and losers when it happens tomorrow and the Sunday coming after. But that'll be in one video. I think there was too many things that were going on in wildcard weekend. I had to split it up into two videos. But let's get through the first winner. In my opinion, was Daniel Jones. I think he upped his salary by probably like $5 million, potentially more likely a franchise tag for the Giants. And he truly did look like a more than competent quarterback. I always thought he was just competent. I thought he could get the job done. And he wasn't a guy you wanted to break the bank for, but he's a guy that you can at least win football games with when you put a good situation around him. And he actually doesn't have the most perfect situation right now, which makes it more impressive. Obviously, Richie James, Darius Slayton, who I think have become underrated by some fans. I do understand they're not the DeAndre Hopkins of the world. They're not the Tyreek Hill. They're not the Jalen Waddle. They're not these guys that are these uber elite guys, but they're still making perfect plays in these zone coverages. I understand the Vikings defense is not good. And by all means, I'm not super high on Daniel Jones, but I have to give credit where credit is due. And he played a fantastic football game. In his first NFL playoff game, he cooked. Not to mention, it was away. It was in a rowdy environment. No matter what you think the Vikings were, and they were frauds, it's still an impressive outing. I just have concerns for what to expect from him in Philadelphia. That's a way different environment. That's a way different team. That's a way different coaching staff. It's just an overall bigger, badder, and tougher challenge for Daniel Jones. And I do plan on making a video about him because it's going to be a big debate on how much do you pay a guy like him. A 25-year-old who just now is showing a little bit of potential that we had never really seen before, even through college. I thought he was a game manager in college. He was a game manager his first 3 years in the NFL. And now he's being compared. I've seen on TikTok, I'm not just saying this because I disagree with it. He is being called Josh Allen light. And man, is that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not here to disrespect Daniel Jones. I'm here to give credit. We'll talk about that in a separate video. But got to give credit. That dude is the biggest winner this weekend. He definitely upped his salary, guaranteed, no matter what happens in the divisional round, because I think the expectations are still on the floor that he actually goes into Philadelphia and beats an Eagles team that is the number one seed that just come off a bye with a rested quarterback and a healthier offensive line. No one expects him to go head-to-head with Jalen Hurts. Even if they lose the game, there's still an expectation that Jalen Hurts is going to outperform. And if he outperforms Jalen Hurts, it's going to become a conversation of how much money do you pay him, and does it get to the $25 million per year range, and how much do you want to invest into Daniel Jones, which is a conversation in of itself. Let's pivot, though, and go to the AFC. And I talked about how the Chargers were one of the biggest losers because they're the Clippers of the NFL. Let's talk about the Jaguars on the flip side. Specifically, this is a team that is ahead of schedule. The Chargers was a team that we expected to be in the Jaguars' position, and the Jaguars are a team that we kind of said their best case scenario, they would be in the position of what the Chargers were, which is a wild card out. Because they are now in the divisional round going against the Chiefs, I'm not going to talk about that matchup because my expectations are on the floor for this game. If the Jaguars end up going to the AFC Championship, wow, this team is a Bengals 2.0. If they lose, they're ahead of schedule, but let's temper expectations going into the offseason. But by far, I think the biggest winner from all of this is easily Doug Peterson. I know Trevor Lawrence is playing fantastic, but he also put him in a hole and was able to mentally recuperate and lead this team back. But Doug Peterson was a guy that was sent to the shadow realm from Philadelphia after winning a Super Bowl, and he goes to the Jaguars after taking a year off and has been able to turn around one of the most dysfunctional organizations into a viable playoff team, one that had Urban Meyer as the head coach and was playing a perfect game. I mean, to call that play with Travis Etienne with the triple back behind Trevor Lawrence was remarkable. And I honestly wanted to put Travis Etienne as one of the winners here because he was a very much disliked first-round pick, I believe. I believe he was a first-round pick that people were like, well, you have James Robinson. Why are we doing this? Then you trade James Robinson to the Jets, and now he is seen like, I'm going to make a very arbitrary comparison, but it's almost like Philip Lindsay, where he has this really good first year, and then it kind of just dwindles down, and now he is just on the Jets, and we don't really know what the future is for James Robinson after having such a good rookie year. Travis Etienne is looking like the perfect running back for this Doug Peterson offense. Like, he is truly what helped them get those extra first downs, put them into the position to win this football game. This Jaguars organization just has to understand, and potentially there is rumors that Jalen Ramsey wants out of the Rams. Cornerback is a need for this team. What a reunion that would be for Jalen Ramsey to come back to the Jags. The Jags are in a perfect position to move forward. They have their franchise guy. You could feel good no matter what happens with Kansas City. You could throw the kitchen sink at Kansas City because no one expects you to go beat Patrick Mahomes in his home area. And let's pivot to one of the biggest winners overall is... Oh, I did this for the losers. I did like one AFC, one NFC. And what I want to pivot to, and it was at the very end of the video where I talked about one of the biggest losers was officiating. I want to pivot towards the generalized of the NFL, or the generalization of the NFL is a huge, massive win for this weekend. A lot of games that we had expected to be duds turned into some of the best football we had seen all year. And specifically after the dud that happened with the TCU-Georgia game that had so much, I wouldn't say hype, but like you were hoping for a little bit more than what we got, which was a 60-point blowout in the national championship. And then the NFL comes in with its first round of the playoffs with super electrifying games, entertaining games with backup quarterbacks actually playing well and going toe-to-toe with top 5 quarterbacks. And it was making for great entertainment. It's a massive win. That is a huge winner in my opinion, is the NFL coming in, having entertaining football for the desperate people that were watching the college football realm. Like, I'm a huge college football guy, and I can admit the NFL took the dub this time. Like, if the NFL even has a marginally good Super Bowl this year, like, I think last year's Super Bowl was great. As long as they don't have, like, a Rams versus Patriots in 2017, I could be wrong on that date. It could have been 2018 or 2019, one of those three. As long as there's not a dud like that, it's a massive win for the NFL, and it's a massive win for people who've argued that the NFL is way more exciting and entertaining than college football. And I think there's an argument for college football, but there's so many things you've got to fix with college football where the NFL is a more polished product. You're getting professionals out there. There's a lot more money involved. But that is what I think the winners were for this wildcard weekend. And I truly do have no expectations for the divisional round. There's so many matchups I would love to see. I would love to see a rematch versus Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. I would love to see a Bills-Chiefs rematch. I would love to see a Joe Burrow-Patrick Mahomes rematch. And then and the NFC. I do think the Cowboys are partial winners. They're my honorable mention, but I think that they should beat the Buccaneers, and I think they should move forward into the divisional round. Even though a lot of people were on the Bucs and riding the Bucs money line, this is what they should have done because they're a good football team. Now they go against 49ers, which I fully expect to make a video on who wins and who loses that game because I think both franchises are in pinnacle moments of their entire history, and I'm very excited to see that. But if you're at this point of the video, thank you so much for watching. I truly love making content. Guys, you don't realize how much is ahead of us. We are just in January. We're at the midpoint of January, and my capture card comes in tomorrow. I fully plan to have a full script ready for the college football show, which is going to start in February. Big announcement. It's going to start in February. You're going to get an hour-long show every single week talking about college football, and that's where you're going to get your college football fix. So thank you for watching. Please leave a sub, leave a like, leave something, interact with the video, and thank you so much for watching.